So our big movie review for the week, we're going to be talking about Warfare. Like I said at the beginning of the episode, new A24 war film, directed by Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza. Alex Garland he did Civil War, and he did another Ex Machina, back, a while ago with Oscar Isaac and Alicia Vikander or something. Um, I love Ex Machina, and then Civil War was pretty good. It wasn't just the story wasn't just the greatest, but like the way it was shot and some of the sound editing and stuff, which we'll talk about sound editing, were really good in Civil War. So, when this trailer debuted like 2 months ago, we were amped for it because we don't get a ton. Me and you both love war movies, military movies. It just feels like we don't get a ton of them anymore. We might get like one big good one a year, maybe one every other year. I can't even really think of the last like big, like really solid war movie we got.
For a
Um,
theatrical release, it's hard because
I
we did
know.
have All Quiet on the
I
Western
was
Front
literally
that
about to
was
say that's probably the
Netflix.
last one, and that was
That
on
was Netflix.
streaming, and I think that was 2022. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yep.
we just don't get them a lot, which sucks because we love them. I mean, I understand, a lot of it. It's not repetitive, but a lot of those stories have been told before, so I can kind of understand why it might be hard to find, these um, things that to make them super different. But this one does a great job at that. It kind of giving us a different experience with a war movie and a different look at war. So, um, but yeah, when the trailer dropped a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, we were like amped. We're like, dude, this looks really good. We didn't know about this, and pretty solid cast. You got Joseph Quinn, who's ever since Stranger Things, he's blowing up. Will Poulter's been blowing up. Um, you got Michael Gandolfini,
Yep.
um,
Cosmo Jarvis,
Cosmo Jarvis, Charles
DeFaro
Melton,
Wunatai,
huh?
DeFaro Wunatai,
Yep. Charles Melton and
Noah Centineo.
Noah Centineo, a couple other guys I recognized. Really good cast of just young guys and playing, young soldiers. And um, when the trailer dropped, we were like, dude, this looks like it's gonna be sick. So we've been excited for it, and it finally came out. First war movie we've had in a minute, and I'm gonna speak for both of us right off the jump and say that we both absolutely loved this movie. Um, One of the best movies of the year, if not the best, up until this point, and I think one of the best war movies in a long time. Um, like I said, this movie takes a much, much different approach at, studying war or like what war is like. And um, you've gotten, you've gotten like, the super dramatic aspect of war in movies like Saving Private Ryan and violent in things like, you know, All Quiet on the Western Front. That's very dramatic as well. And then
Lone Survivor, Black
Lone
Hawk
Survivor.
Down.
And then you've had some that also have like, I don't know, I just kind of thought of Overlord. That's not necessarily just a war movie, but, kind of has some horror elements. Um, so, we've seen a lot of war movies over the years, and a lot of them are just super dramatic and emotional and kind of like, um, we still love them, but a lot of them, like maybe people say they kind of glorify war, which I could definitely see that. Makes it, or maybe makes it seem like it's not as bad over there as it really is or really was. But this movie does the exact opposite. It wants to show you how absolutely horrible war is and the effects that it can have on these young guys that are over there. It's a super, super simple premise of a movie. Um, they're going to run recon on this area. It was in Iraq, right? And basically they get attacked while they're in this small little house. And most of the whole movie takes place in this little house um, that they were doing recon in, and they just get absolutely slammed by the Iraq forces. Um, and it's just a super simple movie. It's like, it's just all these guys together, and you're spending time with them. You get about 30 minutes to kind of like, get to know what each of them do and kind of what they're like. And then once that first grenade, drops in the house, the shit does not stop for an hour. It is beyond thrilling. from that first grenade drop until the end, literally on the edge of your seat, sweating. I told you, like, I felt like I was exhausted after watching this movie. I kind of went on a long time about it. I want to hear what you think.
You're gonna have to stop me. Uh, I could talk a lot about this film, guys. When Cole said it, yeah, like a lot of the Saving Private Ryan's, your maybe American Sniper or uh, Lone Survivor, Black Hawk Down, the list goes on and on and on. This is the most real. A lot of movies have been done about World War One, World War Two, Vietnam, and you get like Lone Survivor and Black Hawk Down and stuff like that. But this had an impact on me. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna
No, me too,
lie.
man.
This was a tough watch. This was horrifying, gut-wrenching. It is scary for the people involved. Um, and it took a piece out of me because we don't live over there. We don't know what happened. We don't know what's going on. And what Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza do in this movie is, I think, changes the game.
Yeah, it's
Um,
special.
the the greatest thing that this movie does is the no score. I think we have to talk about it. There is not a single ounce of score in this movie. There is not one. At the very beginning, the first 5 minutes, we get one of the probably coolest scenes that I think we like. When you talk about war movies, you think about opening scenes, and the one that everybody's going to reference is Saving Private Ryan. Rightfully so. It is horrifying. Think of the Omaha Beach scene on Saving Private Ryan for an hour and a half. That's what this movie is. It's a mental it's a chore. And the reason I say that is because it's gonna make you literally wonder what's going to happen next the whole movie. And sometimes it just doesn't happen. I mean, there are probably parts of that movie where in a normal movie, if it wasn't based on like memories, which is also just one of the coolest bases to run your movie, everything is based on memories. It's awesome. It's so cool. And if you don't know, Ray Mendoza was over there on this mission. This is a real life event that happened to him. His memories are this movie. Um, and when you when you talk about like barbarism or what two humans will do to each other with differing views or differing with conflict or anything like that, it just makes you think. And I had a tough time when I walked out of this movie. I sat in my car for about 20 minutes and I had a lot to like think about. And the only thing I could think about is like, man, the fact that two humans could do this to each other. And it's just the only sounds that you get in this movie are screaming and agony, gunfire, grenades, explosions, tanks rolling up. Dude, it's tough. It's brutal, and I think that's what makes this movie so good. It is, like I said, I probably have to stop here in a second, but it is just a masterclass of storytelling and a masterclass in what your point was to get across.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, dude,
it's
it does a great job of immersing you in that exact mission that they were in. Like you genuinely, because of how unbelievably fantastic the sound editing is and everything, you feel like you're in that freaking house with them. You really do. Like the whole theater's shaking with each gunshot and each grenade and all the missiles and everything and the IED. Did I say IED? IUD?
IED. IED.
IED. I
Yeah.
thought I said IUD at first.
No, you said IED. You're good. You're good.
IED. But yeah, with each thing, like you feel the impact of each gunshot. Like you literally, and just the way that they mix the sound, you feel like you're freaking there. You're immersed, and it is. I think it is. I mean, there's a lot of really good war movies, but it's one of, if not the most, like immersive war movies ever. And the fact that, like you said, it's shortened to the point. The first 30 minutes, you're kind of getting to know them, and then the last hour is just chaos. But it's all happening in real time. Like this whole, once they get to the house until they, end up leaving at the end, about an hour and a half passes, and that's how long the movie is. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It like, I think they did it out on purpose to make you kind of feel like, that's how these things went, how sorry, missions like that went over there. How quick and chaotic and, brutal they could be, even just in such a short time. So, uh, extremely immersive, like you said. The Not only is the sound editing incredible, the no score, the decision for literally no score is genius. I don't think I've ever seen a war movie do that. Sometimes you'll get action scenes with no score. One that stands out recently is the fight between Paul Atreides and Fade Rotha. A movie that's so pushed forward by its score, by Hans Zimmer's brilliant score. You get that scene of them fighting with nothing, and it's one of the best scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
It could definitely work. You just got to make sure you're doing it right. And my God, does it work here, bro? Like you said, walking out of this theater, like I feel like I legitimately walked out like changed a little bit in the way that I thought about war. Obviously, we know war is brutal, and a lot of these movies, maybe do kind of glorify it a little bit or make it seem like it's not as bad as it is. Um, but war fucking sucks. Horrible, horrible things happen overseas. From each war, World War One, two, Vietnam, and then everything that's been going on like Iraq the last 20 years, Afghanistan. Um, But yeah, it makes you think, man. Like it legitimately has an impact on us, and I think that's the first movie this year that's like genuinely like had an impact on both of us as people. Um, I even thought about this after like this movie. It's so immersive and like so much feels like you're there. It almost feels like a horror movie. Like
Yeah.
it is just like so tense. Like you genuinely are like kind of scared and you don't know what's going to happen to these guys. And we haven't even really talked about it, but some of their performances are just unreal. We could harp on all of it, but we don't got all day.
Yeah.
But like Joseph Quinn, for example, half the movie he's just screaming at the top of his
Yeah.
lungs in pain, and it's like sensory overload. It's like
Yeah.
sensory overload.
It really is.
It's
It
unreal. Yeah, got all
in
the
the
radios
movie,
going.
like there are two people really shook up in this movie, and it's Will Poulter's character and it's the sniper that was replacing Cosmo Jarvis. I don't remember all their names. The names are literally they are important, but the most important name is Elliot. Let's be honest, like that is the most important name, and we'll circle back to that. But it is the blonde dude that over like helped. He was also in the room. Um, I can only imagine what they were feeling in that moment. And to have heroes that people over there know their one job is to get everybody that they have with them home safe. Dude, it just is I just it's
Yeah,
the worst part of this not the worst part the like the most I think it hit me when the movie it turns black and it has that kind of like it doesn't even sound like music. It sounds like a buzzing in your ear kind of music type deal at the end when the credits are rolling. And
it shows the pictures.
yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I had to wipe a couple of tears from my eyes after this movie. I cannot believe this is game changing. I feel like this is a movie that it's incredible. It is absolutely I will give this praise to this movie probably all year. I will bring it up multiple times. But when you want to get your point of, and also one of the damning parts of this movie is as they're leaving that house, they tell the tanks to blow up the upper story. Like, hey, go to town, give it hell. They're running out the bottom, and you see the family that lived in that house just saying, why would you do this? Why? And they walk out after the soldiers left, and their house is destroyed. It's
Yeah,
there are so many humans affected by war,
yeah.
and I will do another. Man, okay, I'll talk about this really quick. Like the one thing this movie does as well is that they do not tell you what the mission is, who attacked who first, who is in the wrong. It doesn't care about that. That's not. They're not trying to push anything.
They're not trying to
This
push. There's literally no political agenda here at all.
there's one agenda, and it's to tell you how brutal
War
war
is.
is. And it does, it's just, it's a
Yeah,
masterclass, is
I
the
mean,
only word that I can. Describe that.
It's definitely different than most every other war movie I've ever seen, which is like I said earlier, like it's kind of hard sometimes to come up with a good original, different kind of war movie, and that's exactly what this was. We could harp on it for days, but I think we can go ahead and give our scores. Obviously, we both absolutely freaking loved it. Um, so let me pull it up just to double check. So I gave it um 4.5 stars on Letterboxd and uh literally right on the edge of 5 stars. I gave it a 9.4. Um, I think it's not. I don't think it's the greatest war movie ever. Movies that we will probably talk about here shortly. But it is right there. It's almost right there. Like it is one of the best war movies ever. So I gave it a 9.4, literally the highest 4.5 star I could give it. It's almost right there at 5. Absolutely loved it. Highly recommend everybody go check it out. I think it'll definitely make everyone think for sure. What about you?
So, leaving the movie theater, obviously, after 20 minutes of thinking, if you saw my tweet, I just said, yeah, with a period. That was the only thing I could really come up with as an instant reaction. Couldn't even think of the three words that I usually do. I didn't have three words for it. Um, I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd, my first 5 star of the year. Um, and rightfully so. It is beautiful, but in a horrifying way because it gets the point across and it does its job of what it's supposed to do. And shout out Elliot. You'll probably never watch this, but thank you is all I can say. Thank
Yeah.
you. And yeah. The rating that I'm gonna give it for the 5 stars is I'm gonna one up you a little bit, and I'm gonna give it a 9.5. It is up there with some of my favorite war movies of all time, and we take rewatchability into account. This will be a movie that I'm going to have to rewatch at some point, but I am gonna know going into it how tough it's going to be to rewatch it. Um, yeah, dude, it is. There's like when you think of pure war movies, because there's wartime movies and then there's war movies that actually show combat. Uh, and wartime movies would, be Oppenheimer and Imitation Game and things like that. It is probably top five. I'm not kidding. Instant Impact, it's top like two. It is just this one hits home a little bit more too. I think when you think about World War One, World War Two, we weren't alive, so like we don't really know. We have There's a lot of information that has come about the war in the Middle East, whether you agree with it or you don't. And this one just hits a little bit more home because we know people who are in the armed forces, that graduated high school with us or we went to college with now and stuff like that. So this hits a little bit more home. But nah, Ray Mendoza, um, thank you, Alex Garland, uh, unbelievable job, and everybody who acted in this outstanding. We didn't even mention Kit Connor, so
Yeah.
and he was really good as well. So yeah.
Yeah, dude, unreal movie. Everyone, I don't think either one of us can recommend it enough. Everyone needs to go check it out. Um, you'll definitely leave changed. It's a very impactful movie. Um, just
Oh,
literal.
and for the 15 new movies that I've seen this year, I know you've seen a little bit more, but this is my number one on the year. So this one got the number one spot right over Mickey 17. 5 stars, first one of the year. I'm happy to have my
There
first
you
five
go.
star rated movie.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, it's I still have Neja at 5 stars.
It's okay. It's
It's point
okay.
one above it,
Yeah.
but no, I mean that doesn't take away this. This is definitely like a better movie than Neja. It's just, personal
Right,
preference.
right, right.
But completely different things. We both love it. Everyone go check it out. We need more war movies, bro. This was great, which was such a good movie, and I really, really hope it does well and gets people talking, and we continue to get, more military war movies because we love them and
Mhm.
they tell great stories and they mean a lot. So.
Yep,
Yeah, shout out Warfare, Alex Garland, Ray Mendoza. Y'all are incredible. Joe Quinn, Will Poulter, Charles Melton, the whole cast. Thank you. It was a beautiful, heartbreaking, terrifying portrayal, but you guys all killed it. So,
yep.
um, yeah, that's our Warfare review.